Hello friends! Today I will tell you how to visit 3 top attractions of Armenia in one day on your own. The main monument of the pre-Christian era is the pagan temple of Garni, located 28 kilometers from Yerevan near the village of the same name. The amazing natural monument Symphony of Stones is literally a kilometer away from the temple. And the amazing ancient monastery complex Geghard, which you need to drive another 10 kilometers in the same direction to get to. Welcome to my channel, and we begin. Our logistics start from Gai Avenue, the monument to which serves as an excellent landmark. We walk 100 meters along the avenue to the south, and here it is the bus station. Our bus number 266, the ticket price is 500 drams. The driver or passengers will tell you where to get off in the village of Garni. The stop is located at the intersection with a traffic light. Turn right and move down the street for about 500 meters. Along the way, you will be sophisticatedly tempted by food and drinks. Trade is conducted almost at every step. Finally, we arrive at our destination. The entrance fee for adults is 1500 drams. The Garni Temple is located on the territory of the Garni fortress. The Armenian pagan temple dedicated to the sun god Miho was built in the 1st century AD by King Trudhat I. It is located on an inaccessible cliff from which a dizzying panorama opens up. Below, in a deep gorge, the clear mountain river Azat carries its cold waters into the distance. Equipped observation platforms allow you to enjoy the views of the Azat Gorge to your heart's content. The style of the temple is mainly Hellenistic architectural forms, but it also reflects local traditions. It should be noted that the type of rectangular religious building with columns and a pediment was known in the territory of the Armenian highlands since the times of Urartu. 9 high 30 cm steps of stairs lead into the temple, immediately adding monumentality to the building. The composition of the temple is a peripteral, a rectangular hall with a portico which is surrounded by 24 columns on the outside. At the base of the columns we see images of mighty Atlanteans standing on one knee with their hands raised up and supporting altars. The number 24 was not chosen by chance. It represents the number of hours in a day. Along the entire perimeter of the temple roof there is a carved stone frieze. In its ornamentation, Hellenistic patterns are intertwined with traditional Armenian ones. The building is constructed from dark basalt blocks. Inside the small sanctuary there was a statue of a deity, which became the central figure of a mystical performance, staged by local priests. At certain times of the day, rays of sun fell through an opening in the roof of the building, expressively illuminating the shrine. After the proclamation of Christianity in Armenia in 310, the pagan temple was not destroyed, unlike others, because it was a favorite vacation spot for the sister of King Redat III. However, the temple was severely destroyed by an earthquake in 1679. Fortunately, most of its fragments remained in place, and it was restored in 1969 to 1975 by Soviet scientists. Near the temple of Garni, ruins of other structures have been preserved. To the right of the entrance is the oval foundation of the Christian church of St. Zion from the 7th century. A little lower, you can see the foundation of a royal palace, built in the 3rd-4th centuries. 50 meters northwest of the temple are the ruins of a bathhouse from the end of the 3rd century. The baths consisted of 4 rooms and a technical building with a stove. The first hall served as a changing room and a rest area. The other 3 rooms differed in temperature and humidity. Guests passed through them gradually, so that the body could get used to the change in temperature. Next, dear viewers, we move on to the second point of our virtual excursion program. I invite you to visit the amazing natural monument Symphony of Stones with me. The attraction is located literally a kilometer from the Garni Temple, and not to visit it is complete madness. But first things first. The Symphony of Stones Gorge is clearly visible from the eastern observation deck of the Garni Temple. You can get there by two routes. Normal people drive on asphalt by car, but we will of course go directly on foot, and you will soon see the correctness of this choice. Immediately upon exiting the Garni fortress you need to turn right. The road goes steeply down to the bottom of the Geghard Gorge. Picturesque views, movement exclusively downhill and no need to return determine the obvious advantages of such a route. We will make the return trip from the opposite side on asphalt. I'm sure you'll enjoy this little walk as much as I did. And here is the goal of our short journey. We buy an entrance ticket which costs a ridiculous 300 drams. Yes, I paid 2000 for a glass of wine. Then our acquaintance with the wonderful gorge begins. A convenient promenade is laid along its entire length. The territory is beautifully landscaped. You can walk along the gorge with your mouth open in admiration as if you were walking along an avenue. Already at the entrance, the surrounding nature amazes. The natural monument Symphony of Stones is the result of volcanic activity. The scientific name for such a geological formation is columnar jointing. These are hexagonal and pentagonal basalt columns up to 50 meters high, which seem man-made due to their amazing symmetry. They are about 40 million years old when lava from the nearby mountains flowed into the gorge. It quickly cooled and crystallized. The columns hanging over the river create the impression of a huge musical instrument, the basalt organ. In ancient times, such rocks were called devil's hives because of their resemblance to honeycombs. There are several dozen similar mountain formations in the world, but it is believed that the Symphony of Stones in the Geghard Gorge is one of the largest and most beautiful monuments of this type. Unfortunately, no video can convey the full scale of what was seen. Meanwhile, we reached the opposite exit from the gorge where tourists are usually taken. As expected, a shopping infrastructure appeared. Here I bought delicious pomegranate wine at a price of 4000 drams per liter bottle. I walked to the village of Garni, along the asphalt, still on foot, regularly applying myself to the life-giving vessel. Meanwhile, we continue our virtual tour of beautiful Armenia. The third point of our program is the Geghard Monastery complex, a unique architecture structure in the Kotai region of Armenia. For its preservation, historical significance and exceptional beauty of the surrounding nature, it was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. Along with the Garni Temple, this is the most visited attraction in Armenia. It is easy to visit it by taking the same bus to 86, going to the final stop in the village of Geghard, from where it is only 2.5 kilometers to the monastery. I advise viewers not to take a taxi, but to walk to the monastery on foot along a very picturesque route. Half an hour of a pleasant walk surrounded by the beauty of fantastic nature quickly flew by, and then the goal of our journey appeared ahead, the cave monastery of Geghard. The cliffs surrounding the monastery are part of the Geghard River Gorge, which is also included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. The fuller name of the monastery is Geghard, literally spear monastery. The tip of the spear with which the Roman centurion Longinus pierced Jesus Christ was kept here. In 1760 the relic was moved to Ichmiadzin, where it remains. The monastery was founded in the 4th century AD on the site of a sacred spring originating in a cave. That is why it was originally called Yerevan, which means cave monastery. The first temple buildings in the Geghard River Gorge were laid in 3000 to 325, but nothing has survived from that period. In 9233 the monastery was plundered by Arab conquerors. The complex we see today was built in the 12th-13th century AD, when these lands were given to powerful feudal lords from the Zakarid dynasty. Today Geghard is an active monastery for men with a large farm. The Geghard Monastery includes the main cathedral Katohike with a high dome, Gavit, a common hallway building in Armenian temple architecture, and a complex of churches, chapels and tombs that are carved into the rocks. The buildings were erected in different periods. I suggest starting a closer acquaintance with Gavit, which unites most of the buildings. It was built in 1225 and is a narthex or covered porch. It serves as a meeting place for parishioners who do not fit into the main church, and also for the burial of noble people and holding important meetings. In the center of the ceiling there is a light opening decorated with a vault of fitted figure stones. Such a dome is called stalactite. To the left from Gavit there are two openings. The first leads to the cave church Avaza, which is translated literally as a reservoir. The church was carved in the 1240s on the site of an ancient cave with a spring. The spring is considered sacred and many believers come here specifically to wash and collect water. The ceiling of the church is also decorated with an elegant stalactite vault, which is not inferior in mastery of execution. The second door from the narthex leads to another rock church. This is the burial vault of the owner of the monastery, Prince Prosh, as well as members of his family. The walls of the church are richly decorated with beautiful carvings and bas-reliefs. The building was carved into the rock presumably in 1283. The lighting of the room is implemented according to the scheme already familiar to us. And finally, in the center of Gavit there is a passage to the Katohike Cathedral. This is the main and traditionally most revered church in the complex. The layout is a traditional Armenian cross-domed temple. Its basis in the plan is an equal-armed cross enclosed in a rectangle. The interior of the cathedral is very modest and elegant. To get to the last of the cave parts of the monastery, you need to go outside, climb the stairs through the courtyard and walk along a short stone corridor. This church was carved out in 1288 and is considered the latest building in the territory of Geghard. Inscriptions on the walls say that the chapel became the burial place of the son of Prince Prosh named Papak and his wife Ruzukan. There is one funny miscalculation in the design of the tomb. The ancient architects did not calculate the thickness of the rock and accidentally made a hole in the tomb of Prince Prosh, located one level below. This is where my film comes to an end. If you liked my work, please support it, like it, subscribe to the channel, write comments. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon.